Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Captain's Coach. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're on a 52 Carver cockpit motor yacht. We just came out of Longboat Key and we are on a 298-degree autopilot heading straight for Grand Isle, Louisiana. That's right, one roughly 470 miles from Longboat around the Mississippi River into Grand Isle, Louisiana. We're going to be offshore for 2 days straight, a 48-hour period. It'll be a great trip. This is a great boat. It's been well cared for, which is the reason why we're taking the chance and do a straight crossing across the Gulf straight to Louisiana. We're going to encounter, obviously, running at dark 2 nights in a row. Charlie and I are going to be doing shifts, 2-hour shifts through the night. We're going to be probably at the furthest distance from the Panhandle, about 120 to 125 nautical miles off the coast. And once we get into oil country, we're gonna be dodging oil rigs, all sorts of cargo ships and transport boats, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's gonna be a great trip. Definitely a lot of challenges from here to Louisiana. We've got a long way to go, but let me take you back to the dock this morning as we prepped this boat to get ready to go and figure out how to get all of the systems operational. I got Charlie company with me on this trip again. You guys know Charlie company from previous videos. He's been a great first mate for me. So we're really counting on each other on this trip. Once again, we've got 470 miles of 8 knots. So we're relying on each other to make this crossing. So it's going to be a great ride. There's going to be lots of educational tips in this video. Come along for the ride. It's going to be a good one. All right, we're getting our food put away here. Get down in the engine room and check on this old girl. Let me get some switches on. It's got an old home audio system in it. That's kind of cool. Like everything's on. There's 12 volt. Fresh water pump. All right. Battery test, no volts. Why is that? Masterhead with a tub. Or I'm sorry, no, VIP. VIP's got a tub. Charlie, you got a bathtub in here, man. Alright, we need some lights. Alright, well, we're having some trouble with the engine room lights. Not sure why those are coming on. Took us a few minutes. I got the generator running with everything swapped over to the gen set, but couldn't figure out how to get the electronics on. And then I figured out that these 2 panels fold down and there's a whole nother breaker panel underneath there. And then, you know, we're working with old school Robertson autopilot, so I had to figure out how to get that one on, which basically you just double tap standby. Got the Fuchon radar. I'm not sure if that thermal imaging is going to work. It would be nice if it worked, but we'll see. Apparently it's got a radar detector, a couple spotlights, which is going to be helpful. So I'm going to make a call to Longboat Key moorings here and ask them to come out and get us some fuel, and Charlie's got to make sure we got water. We're piecing it together one by one. We got to get shore power disconnected. Longboat Key moorings, Longboat Key moorings.
Hailing vessel, Longboat Key Club mooring. Switch over to channel 0808.
Copy that. Hey, Key moorings. Hey, we're over here on the fuel dock on this 50-foot Carver. If you could send somebody down, we're gonna fuel up and put some water in the tank, all that good stuff.
Copy that, Cap. I'll send a document down there for you.
Roger, thank you. They're on their way down. Let's get some diesel in both tanks, port and starboard, and let's make sure the water tank's full. At least we don't have to move the boat to get fuel. I guess it does have an auxiliary tank. Yeah, I guess we'll do a pump out while we're here too. Yeah, I guess fill all three then, Charlie. Okay. I guess it's got that auxiliary tank. He mentioned that it might be... We're getting close, but the plan is to head 460, 470 miles straight across the Gulf to Louisiana, Grand Isle, Louisiana. Wind's blowing about 10, maybe 13 out of the east, so it'll be at our back today, and it's supposed to only get calmer by this evening and into Wednesday. We will be out in the Gulf for 2 days straight. 48 hours, all the way to Grand Isle. This boat's got twin 6-cylinder Cummins, 6 CTAs, 8.3s, so she will get up and run. She'll probably cruise about 18 knots, 19 knots, something like that. Wide open is 23 knots, but we have to go slow. If we're gonna do this in 2 days all the way across the Gulf and have the fuel capacity to do so, we're gonna have to go slow. 8 or 9 knots is what I'm thinking. We're gonna average probably close to 2 miles to the gallon, which is really good and really efficient for a boat this size. It does have a Westerbeek genset as well, so good motor package. Twin Cummins and a Westerbeek genset is one of my favorites for sure. All of those are very reliable. The boat did just have a service done by the previous captain that was maintaining this boat. They did a great job. I mean, the engine room is super clean, very, very nice shape for 1997. Just had fresh fluids, oil change, all that good stuff. So we're gonna see what happens the first 50 to 100 miles. That's really the telltale as to whether we're gonna come across any issues with the boat. We'll play it by ear that first little bit of stretch, do a lot of engine room checks, make sure we don't have any issues before we go ahead and steam all the way across. All right. So that bow is gonna push off pretty quick. So you get the stern and hop on really fast, pull the boat toward, yeah, get everything else off. Got me, Charlie? Yeah. So you get the stern, hop on real quick, then he'll throw our bow to you and we'll be good. Okay. Because the wind's gonna push me off the dock pretty quick. Yeah, let's go. Go catch that line from him, please. You're good, you can throw it. So right here, the wind definitely pushed me up against that piling on the port side. I just kind of let it happen because this boat does not have a bow thruster, so just let it happen and then you can work off that piling. I'm just doing a slow starboard reverse. Wind pushed me over here on this piling. Port forward engagement at certain points. That'll just allow me to get the stern around that piling to where I can sneak it out of there and let the bow leave that piling eventually. And then right here, I just continue into my starboard reverse, port forward, and just spin the boat out of the slip, and we are gone. I'm not sure that rudder indicator works. We're coming out of the channel here. Charlie's getting our line secured. Coming into Sarasota Bay. Put it on autopilot there, see if it works good in this channel. Coming around the grass flat in Sarasota Bay. We got to go get in the ICW and head north up to Longboat Pass, and then we'll pop out Longboat Pass. Coming to the curve now. So the ICW bends off this way, and then it goes back up north to Longboat. Kind of rides the beach there. Definitely need to do an engine room check soonish.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we don't have anything crazy going on. Whenever you feel like doing that, would be appreciated. I got my InReach Mini hanging and clipped onto the side of the hardtop because it needs a clear signal. And I just sent a test text message to the owner of the boat to make sure we are all good and connected via satellite. The InReach was working fine yesterday, but just wanted to make sure we stay in touch. And it does have, the InReach Mini has the ability to, you connect it to the Garmin EarthMate app, and then when you send a custom text, you can also put your location in there too, so they can see where you're at. So definitely really cool. You have to have it on a Gulf crossing like this. When we're doing this many miles in one shot, I mean, I would have liked to have Starlink for this trip. Starlink would have been really nice to have. We would have stayed totally connected. I could have checked on the weather, all that good stuff. The Fuchon radar on this works, but it's older, so we'll have to play with it later and see how well it works. I don't know how well it'll pick up storms and all that good stuff. So we're kind of blind on weather, but the next 2 days forecast is really nice, but it is summertime, so it doesn't really mean anything. The seas can be calm most of the time. I'm not really worried about seas. I'm just worried about storms and lightning and potential issues with the boat. So she's cruising right along just fine at the moment, doing about 1,250 RPM. We're doing about 8.5 knots, so about 10 mile an hour, which is what I thought we were going to be doing for this whole trip. She will get up and go, but you know, the fuel burn goes way up. So, and it's not, I mean, you can run them at 80%. They're lugging pretty bad. It's not the healthiest thing for the boat for this boat to put it on plane for 10 hours straight. You know, you can do it, but it's better to be nice to them. We're in the Longboat Strait, coming up to the bridge. Coming up to the bridge in Jewfish Key. Sure is a pretty day. East winds. Charlie's got his Hawaiian shirt on.
Oh yeah.
We got a long trip ahead of us. We'll be out in the Gulf at night tonight, regardless of which direction we head. Still trying to kick around whether to go to Destin or whether to go straight across to Louisiana at Grand Isle. About 300 miles to Destin, about 460 to Grand Isle. So it'd be 2 nights straight to Grand Isle from Longboat. Pros and cons of each. We will cover those pros and cons of each later for those of you making crossings like this. Got some dolphins hanging around here. Here they are. Coming up on the turn, we're gonna cut just to the south of Jewfish and head over to Longboat Bridge. For those of you that know this area, this green can up here on your port side on the ICW, it is shallow around that green can. stay well away from it. I'm going to go to standby on the autopilot. I'm going to run it myself. I do have to open Longboat Bridge here in a minute. This screen right here, you can kind of see where the sandbar has been extending over. They might have moved it actually, but there's some dolphins right there. But I like to swing it to starboard here and then slowly come around back to port. Yeah, 7 feet under the boat, 8 feet. The shore is right there, and Mar Vista is to its left. Those are two great restaurants here in Longboat. Great for boaters. Longboat Bridge, Longboat Bridge.
This is Longboat, go ahead.
Hey buddy, westbound pleasure craft, opening your, or requesting your next opening.
Copy that, Captain. Are you coming up from the non-traditional way?
Yes sir, over here by Jewfish.
You got it. All right, Captain. I'll initiate an opening when you get a little closer. I'll be standing by 09 for you.
Roger that, thanks so much. Jewfish Sandbar, great spot, we go there all the time, nice deep water. You can back a big boat up to the sandbar, or you can just sit on top of the sandbar in a small boat, either way. But this sandbar extends pretty close to the bridge, so you have to really come all the way to the bridge and then parallel the bridge. Don't try to cut from here to the opening. You got to go to the bridge and then north, or else you will run aground, especially in a bigger boat that drafts more than about 3.5, 4 feet. You will touch. He's opening it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and sneak around, pick my RPM up a little bit. Tide's coming in pretty strong. Go ahead and sneak around this sandbar and get in position. I got 6 feet under the boat. No. I got, oh my gosh, freaking sunglasses. 17 feet under the boat. Stopping traffic. 16 feet. 14 feet. 13 feet. $11 feet, and we're good. A lot of dolphins out this morning. Feel that current pulling me. And I'm just, right now, I'm just going to let it do that. Deeper water over here, I'm just going to let it take me away from the bridge. Looks like he's having some bridge issues. He put the road guards down, then they went back up. Now they're going back down. Looks nice offshore. goes. Alright, right about now I'm going to get into the throttle a little bit. Just run it through there with the wheel. Remember, tide's coming in, so if you want more steering, you want to keep your bearing and your heading. Put more throttle to it. Longboat, thanks so much for the quick open. Have a good one. All right, back on autopilot, coming out the channel. We'll figure out which heading to get on. Well, Charlie figured out the fans work, and let me tell you, those things can push some air. That's a lifesaver. They're a little rusty, but blow some cool air. You can put one on you, you know. You don't have to put them both on me. Will they move that way? Oh, yeah, I guess there you go. Oh, was that your finger?
Yep.
Is it still there?
Yeah, plastic. Luckily.
Here, let's let this... You guys all saw that. Charlie just about chopped his finger off on that fan.
Be a terrible way to start the trip.
What are you doing sticking your fingers up in there like
I
that?
was pushing that thing.
Gosh, my God. Well, we're on a 298, straight to Louisiana. It's going to be interesting, I can tell you that. We're doing about, I think we're doing like 1.6 mile to the gallon. We're doing about 6 gallons an hour right now, and we're running about 10. So, this boat holds 600 gallons of fuel. So that is plenty of fuel for this trip. Got a little spare in case something happens. You know, I mentioned a little while ago we were going to go over the pros and cons. So we're leaving Longboat. Obviously, this boat has more than enough fuel to make this crossing. It appears and seems to be in very good shape. The survey came out very well. The boat was just serviced. We're going to Seabrook, Texas. That's our final destination, okay? So you got the Gulf, you got Louisiana here, and you have Destin up here. For me, the option was either go 300 miles to Destin, and that way we're closer to the west coast of Florida and eventually getting out into more open water. That would give me about 100 miles to kind of feel the boat out and make sure we're not going to have any issues, all that good stuff. Now the pros of that, of going to Destin, staying a little closer to shore, only one night of travel, less potential for thunderstorms, but I can get to the cons. Generally this time of year, this is late June, thunderstorms around the coast of west coast of Florida and in the Panhandle can be pretty sporty close to land. So coming into Destin or getting close to Destin in the afternoon or late evening, maybe even early morning, you got a pretty good chance that you're going to get caught up in something on the north end of the Gulf up there, okay? Generally, the closer you are to land is when those storms stir up the most. So that's the con of going to Destin. Oh, and the other con of going to Destin is it's way out of the way. So we would have to go 300 miles to Destin, traveling through the night, one night, and then we would have to backtrack around Louisiana. And when we backtrack around Louisiana, around the Mississippi, unless we get the boat up on plane, which myself nor the owner really wants to do because of fuel burn, we are still coming into Louisiana around that area at dark. So it doesn't matter whether we go straight to Louisiana or destined then to Louisiana. The timing of it, we still end up in Louisiana around dark. So that means we're navigating all of those oil platforms and all the container ships and barges and all that stuff at night. All right. I do have radar. It's an older radar, but it does work. Those are the pros and cons of going to Destin. Here's the pros and cons of doing a straight 470 miles over to Louisiana. The pros: saves a full day of travel or more. Cuts that off. Number two, it's less effort on my part and Charlie's part because we don't have to make an extra stop. Number three, we do have the fuel. But the cons of doing this is Charlie and I are going to be doing shifts throughout the night, and we have to stay vigilant, especially when we get in closer toward Louisiana and oil country. There's a lot of stuff in the water, a lot of platforms. Got to make sure we don't hit anything. Got to make sure we're seeing these oil platforms. Generally, they're nice and lit up, and you know where they are and all that. And they make noises as well. They have a bell on them, most of them. So the con of that, yeah, we're doing night shifts. We're coming into Louisiana at dark. On the the Mississippi River exits there, so it can get a little sporty, a little rough in the Mississippi, or at the river mouth of the Mississippi. So we'll have to watch that. But the 2-day forecast from today to tomorrow looks better than today, and as you can see right now, it's just a rolly 1 to 2 foot. Tomorrow it's supposed to just lay out. Another con to going straight across is the weather. So I did clear that with the owner. The owner is comfortable with us going straight across, and I warned him about the weather we could run into. I'm not so worried about really big storms that will kick up and cause really big seas. That's not too much of what I'm worried about, although that can happen. What I'm mainly worried about is obviously lightning, and any issues with the boat that we may come across. If we have an issue 200 miles out and I can't fix that issue, then we'll have to divert and head back into maybe Destin or Pensacola, somewhere along the lines of that. So there's pros and cons to both. We're choosing to go to Louisiana straight across based on our conditions, based on our fuel range, based that right now I am very comfortable with this boat at the moment. It's very well taken care of. It just had its services done. Everything's looking good so far. Our fuel burn is low, and yes, we do have the potential for getting into some storms, but that happens all the time. I was in a storm yesterday on a big sailcat. It's just one of those things. The chances of you getting struck by lightning are small, but they are there. And I cleared all of those issues with the owner. He was comfortable with that risk, so we're good to go. That's why we're choosing to go straight across. Based on my sea time and how many offshore runs that I've done, I feel comfortable doing it. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous run. We're going to get some great sunsets and cook some good food. It'll be cool to see all those oil rigs out at night. One thing I wish we were doing is I wish we were fishing, but that's just a pain, and that slows us down. And it also, I would have to leave my gear with the boat or buy some cheap stuff and leave with the boat, which I thought about doing, but maybe I'll do it on the next one. Yeah, it should be a nice cross. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Everything's looking okay so far. So on that autopilot, and we'll keep you updated. Well, it's about 100 feet of water, so we're about, about 40, 45 miles offshore. We've been going at it for, I guess, 4 hours now. About 2 o'clock. Definitely the forecast was correct. 2.5 to 3 foot rollers. They're not terrible. Let's see if you can see them. Just a little rolly, but it's a little awkward because it's on our port corner over here. So we got a long way to go. We're just chugging along. Caesar put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Hi, Charlie.
Nice and gentle.
Nice and gentle. We'll see how the afternoon thunderstorms treat us.
It's not easy.
Right.
Like you have
Life with no meaning is one of the hardest things.
absolutely.
Right.
So I guess the reason you pick up your cross and walk uphill is because that's the best thing you can do, all things considered.
Well, we've got about 50 miles out, maybe a little more, and got 2 container ships on the same heading as us. So maybe we'll go across with them tonight. I don't know, but it looks like we're all going the same direction. Looks like I got a fishing boat. Yeah, fishing boat over here. Probably snapper fishing over there. Seas are getting better. Rolling out, laying out real nice. But guys, when you're doing stuff like this, you got to make sure your 2 and 3 day forecast is really nice. Like 10 knots of wind or less. Technically, a 50-footer to go across the Gulf like this, 470 miles, is considered a small boat, technically, if you want to get down to it. Not that it can't do it, but you better have your weather right, and you better understand how to run a boat if it does get rough out here. And what would make it, if your 2 and 3 day forecast is nice, what would make it rough? And it's going to be those isolated pop-up thunderstorms where you literally have no control over. You have no control over them out here. You have no control over them if you're 10 miles offshore or right on the beach. Those storms are what they are. They can either be really bad or nothing. So it's a gamble, you know. It would be a gamble if I went to Destin. It would be a gamble if I went to Tarpon Springs. I mean, you know, it just really depends. But so far, not a lot of moisture in the air above us. Definitely some nice big clouds back toward where we came from. Around us and ahead of us looks fairly dry in the air, but that could change really fast. That cargo ship caught up to us. Looks like it's carrying oil, maybe? I don't know. But we're running at a little different heading. I think he's more on a heading to Texas. We're more on a heading to Louisiana, Mississippi River. So he's gonna scoot past us here. He's moving pretty quick. Yeah, we're only like 55, 60 miles out so far. It's about 5 o'clock. Charlie's at the wheel. You didn't tell me you brought gum. I needed that like 2 hours ago, man. Yeah, about 5 o'clock. Not a cloud in the sky except for to our stern. I'm sure those big clouds are going to turn into some storms rolling through, but looking good out in front of us so far. Swells have officially kind of got in line with us at our stern. So what was happening before was we were getting those rollers y'all were seeing, and my heading that worked when we started the day to right at the mouth of the Mississippi River was 298. And basically we were doing kind of like that at a very slow rate. Like the swells were pushing us north at a very slow rate. So our true heading and our course was different. And now that the swells have kind of settled in behind us, the heading actually trued up a little bit and straightened up. So actually over the last 2 hours, we've bumped the heading from 298 over to about 204 because everything lined back up for us. So, you know, at this speed, the swells can kind of do that to you, and crab walk, you know, those of you that sail know what I'm talking about. I mean, even operating a power boat, you know, going across the Gulf Stream or something like that. Those of you that have done that, you know what I mean. Your heading and your course can be totally different. But things are looking up.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting hungry though. What you want? Burgers? Brats? You know, I bought ground beef for tacos, but I don't think I bought any taco stuff, which was stupid. I didn't buy any tortillas. But we could do a taco bowl. I bought taco mix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We could do a bowl.
That'd be good.
I'm thinking hamburgers though.
Yeah, I'm down for some hamburgers. Yeah, Captwill and Master Chef cooking up some burgers right
Apparently this boat doesn't have a single pan. No pans. No pans, no forks. I don't know who sells the boat and takes all the forks and all the pans and all the knives off the boat.
Hey.
So I came up with this, there's this little oven plate here, and I was gonna cook the burgers in the oven, and I guess we still can, but I figured I'd try it on the stove top first. So it's working, it's just gonna be slow. Trying not to start a fire here while we're 100 miles offshore.
Well, they smell great.
And we don't even have no forks or anything, right? No spatulas. So this is our flipper. Just gonna flip it like that. Guess we need to go to Louisiana and get some forks and knives.
Absolutely.
Well, we're about 100 miles from Longboat. 215 feet of water. Sun's about to set and go down. Seas are looking still pretty good. Didn't see a storm today. I think we got about 330 miles to the mouth of the Mississippi River, and I am using Navionics for this trip. This boat does not have a working chart plotter. It does have a radar, and it works pretty good. It's pretty much picking up everything coming by. There's a lot of traffic out here actually, which is comforting. We passed probably 3 or 4 tows going east. There's either a fishing boat or another motor yacht over there heading the opposite way. There's probably going to be another barge or another ship coming up our stern here soon. It's a nice night. We got our hamburgers done without causing a fire or anything stupid. They were pretty good. We got another 36 hours roughly before we hit Louisiana. So boat's running good, it's running cool, oil pressure's good, fuel's good, everything's looking all right. Engine room checks are coming out strong, so just got to keep on going. We'll start our 2-hour shifts about 10 o'clock, maybe midnight. get a pot of coffee going. Pay attention. There's really on this side of the Gulf to about, you know, we got another couple hundred miles before I have to worry about oil rigs, but this side of the Gulf there's not going to be much around. Boats, you know, maybe something floating in the water that we can try to avoid, but other than that, pretty wide open out here. So everything's going well. Charlie's downstairs taking a nap. I'm about to slow the boat down, get the drone out, catch this sunset for you guys. It's going to be a good one. Pretty good sunset there. You want who gets the first night shift? You didn't even take a nap.
Yeah, feel pretty awake.
He's feeling awake now. We'll see. When are we going to start the coffee?
I can get that going as soon as you want.
Sure is pretty out here. Yeah, there's a tow over there. It's not on the radar though, is it? A little outside of 6 nautical miles. Yeah, a lot of traffic going back and forth. We'll find somebody to pick us up.
Yeah, we're running into trouble.
So look, we'll be obviously, you know, we got 8 to 10 hours of, no, more like probably 8 hours of dark to do. The sun comes up pretty early when you're out here. It gets a little early. The sun comes up like, you start seeing daylight a little earlier than you do when you're on land out here in the middle of the ocean. Hopefully we'll see the sun come up about 5:30, I think. But from here on, you know, it's just about staying awake, staying diligent, watching that radar. I got it set to 6 nautical miles. I got my nav lights on. Hopefully it's a pretty cloudless night, so hopefully the moon illuminates some things for us tonight and lets us see a little bit out in front of the boat. But not, you know, I've done so many crossings at night and run so many boats pretty fast at night. Honestly, I feel pretty comfortable out here doing this. I know a lot of people wouldn't, and a lot of people are probably going to hate on coming out here and chugging through the night like this, but this is just what we do. We got to do it. Once again, we're doing 2 nights, so it'll be tonight and tomorrow night. The other option was to do Destin, which would have been 1 night, so we would have been out here either way.
You got great weather too. So,
Charlie, do you have anybody that you want to say something to back home? Girlfriend? No, you don't have a girlfriend right now, do you? Single and ready to mingle. Charlie, give me your shout out, somebody back home.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Brittany and Billy Tess for giving me some time off to come do this amazing trip with Will. And yeah, what up, Mom and Dad? I'm on TV.
I'm on TV.
He's very impressed with how every fight he showed up with something. I still got this.
All right, guys.
Okay. Partly with your right hand. Always learning. He was always learning. He was in the city with the kickboxing guy. He was always.
All right, well, obviously it's dark now. It's almost 10 o'clock. We're just chugging along here, watching the radar. I just turned the lights on the bridge just for you guys so you can see a little bit of what's going on, but took a shower out there in the cockpit. It's got a hot and cold freshwater shower on the cockpit. That was pretty nice.
Nothing like being naked under the stars.
Rinse the sweat off of us.
Sorry.
Alright guys, it's 1 in the morning. It is dark out here. Very dark. It is a little tough to see out of the when you're enclosed in glass. Sometimes if you just have a glass in front of you, the glare isn't bad, but when you have glass in front of you and to your side all around, it can kind of get a little hard to see sometimes. But once again, I turned these lights on just for you guys, just temporarily, but we're just chugging along. I think we're probably about 150, 160 miles offshore right now. Have not looked, but I used Navionics and I scrolled through about the next 80 miles. That's going to be the next 80 miles until sunrise, and no structures, no obstructions, no rigs, no anything crazy that would be in our way while we're on this autopilot. So that is comforting that I don't have to pay too much attention. But yeah, I mean, going this slow, I mean, if there's anything in the water, I mean, it just is what it is, you know. Probably going to hit it. I don't have thermal on this or anything like that. And for some reason, this boat has 2 ACR spotlights, but I've looked for the breakers for them and neither of them will come on, but they look brand new. So I think they work. Maybe I'm just missing something, but otherwise I might turn one of those on if I can figure that out. But not too worried about it. I mean, the chances of you running into something out here in all this water, that'd be some pretty bad luck. It'd be some very bad luck. But I guess it can happen. It's probably happened to others, so. We'll keep you updated throughout the night. I think Charlie's going to be up here in a minute to take over for his shift. Looks like in about 100 or maybe the next 200 miles, we're actually on course to go right past a BP oil rig, which is pretty far offshore Louisiana. So that'll be cool to see, but that'll be during the day. And then we are coming into the Mississippi River inlet, or we're gonna dead end the river mouth. We're not going in the Mississippi River, but we're gonna, you know, I'm on a course for that area before we turn to Grand Isle, and that'll be dark when we get there, so we'll have to pay real close attention around there. That's tomorrow night. We don't have to worry about that tonight. About 4 in the morning. We've done 156 nautical miles. We're getting there. We'll have daylight here in a little bit. Really would like some daylight right now. Alright, well, you can't really tell, but it's about 6 o'clock, 5:50. We're finally starting to get some daylight. I can see the horizon again, which is a good feeling after about 8 to 10 hours of chugging in the dark. So hopefully Charlie comes up here and relieves me, and I can go take a long nap this morning. Made it through the first night. Well, good morning. I got my sleep in. It's about 9 o'clock. Sure is nice out here. It's like 1 foot, really big ground swells. They're very far apart from each other, like 8 to 10 seconds, which, you know, we're out here in like, I think we're in like 6,000 feet of water right now. I mean, we are way out here. So that's why you're getting this deeper ground swell that we're not normally used to in the Gulf. But we're chugging right along. Boat's doing great, knock on wood. We've got 130 miles until we come up on the first oil rig. Let's see. $209 miles till the mouth of the Mississippi. So, got another day. We're halfway there. How do you feel about that?
Feeling good?
Halfway there.
Halfway there? Not bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling pretty groggy. Off and on, sleep sucks. Yeah, we're in like 3,000, 3,500 feet of water. DeSoto Canyon, right next to Lloyd's Ridge. That's deep. It is noon on day 2. And I don't know if you can see that ship out there. Maybe?
On the radar.
You can see it on the radar. But that's the first person we've seen in probably 12 hours. But we're 186 miles from the mouth of the Mississippi. And then we're going to either go to Port Fuchon or Grand Isles. I think we're just going to go to Grand Isles. It's easier to get in there, but we don't need fuel, but I'll probably top fuel off. I don't really like riding around up in this area without fuel because there's not a lot of places to stop. And then once we get to Grand Isle, we'll do, I think it's about 250, maybe 300 to Galveston Bay. We got a long way to go, folks. The boredom is real. About 190 miles from Port Fuchon. I think we're gonna head to Port Fuchon instead of backtracking to Grand Isles. It's a little bit more direct and in our path than going to Grand Isle. Never been into Port Fuchon, but apparently there's several fuel docks, but we picked up the pace. We're doing about 18 knots right now. We got the weather to go quick, and we also have the fuel, so. Figured why not?
cooking up some dinner. Let's see what he's got going on. Hello, Will.
Hola!
Doing some video editing while he's cooking some sausages.
Editing. Rods for dinner, night 2. We're hungry and tired, and we're running out of water. How many bottles of water do we have? Like 5?
5 bottles left.
And the air conditioning's not working that great. It's kind of off and on. It's kind of weird. We're getting there. We are 164 miles from Port Fuchon.
Port Fuchon.
10 o'clock in the morning is our ETA. Another long night. Got our brats all cooked up. Came out pretty dang good for a homemade skillet on a stovetop. But I've got 2 rigs in my horizon. Got one here to my 11 o'clock and one here to my 1 o'clock. We're gonna split the 2. I think we're gonna get pretty close to the one at our 10 o'clock, but this is the start of night 2. It's about 6:30. It gets dark around 9, and we won't see daylight again until about 5:30 in the morning. That's when things kind of come up and you can get your visibility back. But it's gonna be a long night. We're already off our sleep schedules and whatnot. We're tired, ready to see some dry land. We need some supplies. We're running out of water. I don't know how we run out of water. We drank 24 waters in 2 days. I never thought that would happen.
I don't know if it was 24 waters.
You don't think so? It was a 24 pack. I don't know. We drank a lot of water though. You know, coming into Port Fuchon, there's a ton of small oil platforms. Not big, small. And then there's going to be a few between these rigs and land. So the next 100 miles is going to be very challenging. We're going to have to stay up. You know, we don't have thermal. I got my radar, which is good. That'll, and you know, they should all be lit. You know, I'm not too worried about unlit ones. Apparently there are some that aren't lit, but I'm fairly certain 98% of them are lit. So not too worried. I'm not too worried about it, but we're gonna have to pay attention and make sure we don't doze off. So the first part of, you know, last night was piece of cake. There was nothing out here. We didn't even pass anybody. There was nobody out here, nobody in sight. So, and we still have good weather. We haven't run into a single storm yet, knock on wood. The horizon looks clean. All around us looks pretty clean. Not a lot of moisture in the air, so we're doing all right. But stay tuned for this evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if you can see those rigs yet, but they're out there.
Now advanced upon the boats.
So we're trying to figure out what this situation is. It's almost like they're either building a well or maybe this is a drilling well for exploration. I don't know. It's not on Navionics. This one over here is on Navionics. But there's a guy fishing around it, trolling. But we're in 7,000 feet of water.
Got smoke.
They got to be building something or exploring. One of the two. I don't know. Go right by it though.
More females.
settle down and wait for more. Never was there a worse spot. As the darkness deepened, the wind increased, and the temperature dropped ever lower. Again, an actual reading was impossible, but it was probably at least as low as 8 knots.
Coming into night 2, it's not gonna lie, it's gonna be a rough night. We're tired. Sure is nice out though. Running low on water, so that means running low on coffee. Got a couple rigs out here. Got a rig over here and a rig over there. Definitely got to make sure to pay attention tonight. So it's beautiful out here. Definitely enjoyed the trip. 48 hours straight, 470 miles. Coming into port Fuchon in the morning. We'll keep you updated through the night. Well, you can't see it at all, but that's a ginormous BP well platform. Like a big city. It's huge. Good morning. It is 2:15 in the morning. I know you can't see anything, but we have several oil rigs around. We are 80 miles from Port Fuchon. Charlie's gonna take some sleep until 5:30. That is when the sun comes up, and then he will relieve me for the majority of the morning while I catch up on sleep. I tried to take a nap the last 2 hours, but it was unsuccessful because I was just worried the entire time. Not any particular reason, not because of Charlie or anything like that. Probably just more of paranoia that I am responsible for what happens to this boat, and weaving through oil fields in the middle of the night is not the easiest thing to do. So I just came up here and said, Charlie, just go to sleep and I will take it from here. But he did a good job. We're still on course and all is well. We are at the mouth of the Mississippi, or just about. I don't know if you can see, but it's definitely colorful around me. Lots going on. Got platforms in front of me. There's the mouth of the Mississippi. And it will be dodging platforms the rest of the way. About 4 in the morning. Got the radar pulled into 3 nautical miles. Not too concerned with what's, far out, but I am concerned about what's around my relative scope here. So pulling into 3 nautical miles and you can get a better view of what's close to you. That big mark is that oil rig to my starboard. about to cross the Mississippi River channel, so I'm listening in on channel 16, paying attention to all of the inbound and outbound traffic, because I'm literally going right through, and I want to make sure I don't get in the way of any of those boys coming in or out. Alright, I am right in front of the mouth of the Mississippi right now, and I can literally feel the cross current. The cross current is pushing me from starboard to port, and I'm having to adjust my heading to compensate for that drift. But it's pushing me really hard. I can literally see it in the water in front of me as well. That river is amazing on how powerful it is. That's a ton of water coming out of there. And plus, I've got this cargo ship that you see kinda on my starboard. Obviously, he's got the right of way, so I'm gonna come in behind him. But yeah, every time I do a course correction to starboard, it just pushes me back to port. Trying to get it to where I come in behind this cargo ship. He's probably, yeah, he's about a mile, nautical mile out. A lot of traffic out here this morning. Got a well over here to my port. This guy. Wait for the sun to come up. Couldn't use it right about now. right, morning guys. As you can see, we are coming into Port Fuchon. What a long night that was. And let me tell you, there are a lot of platforms off of Port Fuchon. They are everywhere. We're weaving through them. Charlie did an exceptional job and allowed me to sleep from about 5 a.m. to 9, which I really needed that. I was dozing off pretty hard at about 4:30 in the morning. I could not hold my eyes open anymore, so I had to go get them. But we made it. We're back in cell service. 48 hours in the Gulf. Let's see how far we've been. We have been 413 nautical miles. And we're not done yet. We got a few more miles to go. What is 413 nautical miles? Can you do that math for me? Times 1.15? 413. 474, yeah, 474 miles. Go. Port Fuchon, Bell Pass Inlet. Make a hard turn to starboard real quick. Get all those rigs out there. Oh yeah, I'm happy to be here. We need some food and some water and some fuel. And a few hours off the boat would be nice. 48 hours is a long time. At least it's a long time on a 50-foot half cabin motor yacht that rocks and rolls all the time. I can't really like express to you how much of a relief it is to finally get in. I do this all the time, but I'm responsible for these boats. When we do a 48-hour crossing, 2 night runs, dodging oil rigs through the night, and you get the presence of potential good storms, which we didn't get rained on once. We're in the Gulf, and you don't get rained on one time in 48 hours. That's crazy. So we got very lucky, very blessed on that. But it's just such a relief. It's my anxiety level just drops as soon as we get in the inlet. Don't have to worry about too much. I mean, we still have to do our job, but the level of worry just goes way down. I just take pride in doing what's right. I take pride in taking care of the boats like they were my own. I don't want any situation where we're putting the boat in peril. I mean, we're already doing 48 hours of open ocean. I don't want to take any more risks than that in itself. So we did good though. We did good. The boat did good. She did good. Those Cummins are just little chuggers. They just keep going. Got this crew boat coming out, and we got to make a big bend here. He wants to stay on this side, so I got to move over here and swing it wide so he has enough room to come inside me. So he has enough room to swing in. Now I can start coming around after he makes his turn. I gotta figure out where Fuchon Marina is. Charlie, looks like their fuel pumps are right here.
Where at?
Hey, y'all fuel right here? Y'all's fuel right here? Fuchon Marina?
Yeah, Fuchon Marina.
All right, I'll put it right here.
Yes, yeah, the gas tank's right there.
Oh, he's coming right now.
Okay. Should I just do hitches on these posts?
I'll do it port side right there in that slip. Right, no, not there. Yeah, just port side. So your stern line's going to cross, and then port side midship cleat, all right?
Okay.
All right, as I start to back in here, first thing you got to realize is the tide is incoming. It is incoming to my port side, so it's pushing my port side beam. And then the wind is blowing my starboard side, so it's a cross current and a crosswind, kind of pushing both sides of the boat. which is why the boat is kind of staying really steady right now as I back into the slip. I did just a starboard forward right there to kick the stern of the boat over to starboard to straighten myself up. And I'm still counting on those two opposing currents kind of keeping me centered there. So I just go ahead and commit. You guys hear me talk about committing a lot. So right there I committed, got myself in. And then hopefully the wind takes over here and
I got plenty of water
takes
right
me
there.
over to the starboard, or takes me over to the port side rather, so Charlie can go get that midship spring. As you can see, the dockmaster is securing my stern, so once he does that,
Yeah, just give him a
I can
midship.
work off my stern if needed and put starboard
Yep.
into forward or port in reverse, and that would kick the bow of the boat over to the dock.
Just tie it tight, Charlie. Come around the piling back to the cleat. Tie it tight. It's hot.
It's hot.
Fuchon Marina. Trying to decide whether we're going to stay here tonight or just get fuel and supplies and then head back out, but cool little spot. Fuchon Marina. They got a bunch of supplies in there, ship store, good place to fuel. A little further back in here than I thought it was, but not too bad. I love coming into all these new places, and I do love Louisiana. Well, that wraps up part one of our cross across the Gulf. Thanks so much for watching if you stayed to the very end. Now, remember, this is just part one. I'm gonna post part two after this, and part two is gonna be our run from Port Fuchon all the way to Seabrook, Texas. But it's too much content to put in one video, so this one will just be the Gulf crossing there, 480 miles. Hope you learned a thing or two. It was definitely an adventure. Please give us a like, follow, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.